So here's a saw that's all set up, and what I'm going to do is take the blade off, and then I'll show you how. The first thing I did was mount the saw sharpener to a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, so I had a stable base to do the other adjustments. And let's see, we'll take the blade off. This blade's just been sharpened. And as you know, this comes with an articulating arm. The problem with the articulating arm is it also holds up the blade. That doesn't work very well because the blades are pretty heavy. So I mounted 4 carriage bolts that are adjustable, that make a absolutely level, that you can adjust to make an absolutely level blade plane. And I'll put the blade back on and you'll see how that works. That, and then I have one of these little levels from Harbor Freight, and as you can see, or maybe see, then you have the adjustments to level the blade. And since I took it off, it looks like it needs to come down a little bit, and this one comes up a little bit back here. So there you go. I don't know if you can see the bubbles or not. Okay, so that's how I adjust the level of the blade using the 4 posts. And I'm using 5/16 inch carriage bolts and have the 5/16 inch threaded inserts to drill the holes in the wood. I have 2 separate pairs, one for a 12-inch blade and one for a 10-inch blade. The other thing you can see is that I'm able to fairly precisely gauge the bevel of the sharpening tool, and Harbor Freight also makes a nice little magnetic base, and you can then, this one's set for 6 degrees, and the way I adjust that with some precision is I also have a carriage bolt underneath the motor that's also adjustable, so I can get some fractions of degrees. And as you know, it rotates on axis, which is a rod, 1/2 inch steel rod that screws here and at the other, and you just loosen those 2 up, and then you change the level here to get the blade either perfectly level or perfectly perpendicular to the blade, or at other angles that you want to do. Now the last adjustment was adjusting the center post, and the way I did that is I took a 1/4 inch rod, tapped through the end of the bar that's the post is mounted on, and also put another threaded plate, because what I want to do is be able to turn it in to give me minute adjustments to pull it out, or turn it out to give me minute adjustments to pull it in. And you need that because as you set up the blade, you want this to be both exactly in the center of the blade, or exactly at a place where it sharpens the tooth at the blade at exactly the angle and the distance you want it to. And you have to fiddle around with this a little bit, but it's actually quite useful to be able to make fraction adjustments to this. And I put a little scale in there so you can move the blade out within, you know, 1 millimeter or 2 or 3 or 4 on either direction to get the cutting edge to line up perfectly with the tooth of the blade. And I'll then close the camera and then put it on close-up so you can see some of this stuff a little bit clearer.